Howdy, howdy, everybody, and welcome back to Straight Deep in Conversation. Uh, the only game that matters because it's the only time you get to hear me talk to you, unless you watch anything else. In which case, hey, good on you. It is the 1st of December today, ladies and gentlemen. So it is the winter time. Well, I don't actually know when the first day of winter is, but arguably it's the first month of winter. So I can only assume it's fairly early. The winter solstice is a thing that exists. The shortest day of the year. Don't know when that is. But you know, getting dark at 4, always a good time. I personally never hated it. You know, it always got darker, which usually meant I was just inside doing what I wanted to do. Anyway, so didn't really matter to me much. And you know, believe it or not, just because it's dark out doesn't mean things close earlier too. Everything's still open the usual hours. It's just darker outside. It encourages you to go inside and do more things. Is that a bat? There's bats in this game? Okay, well, either way. So today I figured, at least for this month, I figured we'd talk about some seasonal topics, you know? Because 'tis the season, you know? The advent calendars have popped open their first day. Children around the world are excited about Christmas or any other holiday that you'd be celebrating around this time. Kwanzaa, Hanukkah. You probably don't celebrate those. Too on the nose. I actually don't know when they start, but I hope they start soon because everyone loves a good season of anything. As long as it brings fun, you know. So it's not like another season of Game of Thrones. It'd be another season of what's a good show? Breaking Bad. If Breaking Bad came out another season, it would still be perfect because that's just how Breaking Bad works. They don't miss with Breaking Bad or that entire series, that entire ecosystem. What's the word? Ecosystem. It's not ecosystem. It's like the universe. The universe. So either way, it's getting sidetracked. I figured today we talk about some snow stories because I grew up in an northeastern state, New York, Brooklyn baby, Brooklyn born, and believe it or not, it snows in New York. New York City still snows. You know, just because it's a city doesn't mean the snow stops. We don't have a dome over us to control all the snow and stuff. No, we got plenty of it, and I have plenty of stories. However, I figured we'd make a side tangent topic segment thing for this episode in particular, because there's a lot. I have a few stories about not me or anything really that has to do with me, but it has to do with my older brother, because he would always go out in the snow. You know, he'd always be the one running errands, so you know, he was outside in the snow a lot more than the rest of us, especially for just menial things. We'd play in the snow, but he'd be like shopping in the snow. So, you know, he had some silly stories there. Like there was one time, because we lived next to a place called Tasty Bagels, the greatest bagel shop in the world, and I want to go back there. But regardless, every Wednesday they had like buy 6 bagels get like 3, or like buy a dozen get another dozen, or buy a dozen bagels get 6 more bagels. So if you bought 2 dozen bagels, you'd wind up with 3 dozen bagels. It was amazing, and we fucking ate bagels, alright? Because bagels were amazing. They still are, but not unless they're New York bagels. What the fuck just hit me? It's fine. But yeah, so he went out to go get some bagels, and eventually he wasn't. Well, eventually we were waiting, and eventually he never showed up. So my dad was like, "Go check on him. Go see where the fuck he went." And I'm like, "All right, fine. I mean, I don't know what I'm gonna be able to do if he's in trouble. He's the older one, but fine, whatever." So I get over there, and he's just like, he's like halfway home, because he just keep getting stuck in the snow. Because it's not like it's super high. We never got it super high. Like I think the highest we ever got it was, I don't even know, because I never bothered to like whip out a tape measure and stick it into the ground and just lift it up. You know, I always just like, holy shit, there's snow out there. I'm gonna fucking play with it. But it's just I never really knew how tall it was. But I was never around with those like 3 feet, 2 to 3 feet fucking mountains. You know, maybe two, because I don't know. They went up to like my knees sometimes. Sometimes a little bit higher. See, I would say like a foot and a half to 2 feet, maybe tops. But that's like nothing. That's nothing. It didn't seem like much to me, so I don't think it's much at all. But either way, he was just trying to walk the bagels home, but it was just so dense that he just couldn't fucking get a good footing without almost dropping all of these fucking bagels on the ground. So you had to be really freaking careful. So he spent like half an hour just getting like halfway home, and we're just like, yeah, this makes sense. We'll have the coldest bagels the West can offer by the end of the hour. So good stuff. But yeah, it was just silly. He got stuck in the snow a lot. Like there was this is the last story I'm gonna talk about, at least for my older brother segment. So we'll hold off on that for now. But this other one, we used to live in an apartment because you don't own a fucking house in New York, in Brooklyn. Like some people did, I guess some people do, but we didn't because that's fucking outrageous. But so he renovated the place eventually, the outside of it, but before that, it was just kind of like a big concrete, like a concrete like path thing, so people can just like stand and like gather around the front and just enjoy their time. One of my uncles even made like a bench to put there that he then stole from us when he renovated the place. He never took it. He never gave it back because he's an asshole. But either way, as much as I hate that landlord, but when it was originally just a concrete slab instead of the garden he made, whenever it would snow, it would pile up pretty damn good in there. Like it would like pile up to like the top of the stairs if like no one tried cleaning it, or like if it just kept snowing for a while, it would pile up pretty damn quick. And one of the things we like to do was fucking jump into it because like what else are you gonna do with a huge pile of snow? You can't make a snow angel with that. You can only jump in there and hope to God you can get out before you fucking die. And that's what we did. And holy moly, it was fun. It was so much fun. However, there was one time where there was still a decent amount of snow, like after we'd already done this and like days have passed, and we were heading out, and my older brother was like, I'm gonna jump into the snow. This is a genius idea. And he jumped, and believe it or not, it was no longer the powdery goodness snow that we had known before that. Nay, it was all like sleet. There's some ice on the bottom. It was all hard snow. Like it was getting ready to ripen and just become fucking ice crystals. He jumped into like a bath of like used and broken needles, essentially. The pain I can only imagine. It was the sound it made. It didn't sound like like when you like stick your hand in like a pile of snow. It goes. It was like a. It was you could hear all the ice breaking and probably his bones too. It was just fucking awful. He didn't break bones. I don't think anyone in our family's really broken a bone. Oh, maybe my mom, but like none of my siblings. At least I don't think. Maybe my older sister did at one point. I don't know. I have such an awful memory, but also I don't think we ever did. So I don't remember. But yeah. So he did that, and after that, I was always way too afraid to, jump into it like he did, like we used to. But then eventually, probably not recent, but like around that same time, he renovated the place. So it's not like it mattered much. Maybe he was like, all right, this is a liability issue. I'm just gonna make it a fucking garden. I don't know. But either way, the last story I have is one of my favorites to bring up, and we always bring it up every time we're talking about just how fucking crazy snow can get. And this is about how he there was one winter during like the start of the winter season where my dad asked my brother to go get something from the store. No, nothing particular, nothing crazy. Just some stuff. However, it wasn't even like the snow was that high up. It was just that it wasn't really like it wasn't like carved out yet. Like no one bothered to like shovel anything really because it was still kind of going and it just faded away. So everyone was waiting for the snow to stop. But regardless, he went, out to grab some things, and he came back with one shoe. And he knew he came back with one shoe, because believe it or not, snow is cold. Right? Like I said, I don't get cold very easily, like at all. But my feet and my hands can get cold fucking super quick. 'Cause there's not a lot of like anything else on it. It's just kind of bone and like your skin. You know, there's not a lot of meat, not a lot of blubber. You know, so you're bound to get colder feet than your colder like stomach or something. But either way, so yeah, he couldn't find his shoe. So he was like he put on some other you know he didn't have another pair he did have another pair of shoes at the time, so he put those on, but they were like older, shittier, and they didn't really fit his feet because his feet grew as he did. Like every year he'd like grow a foot size. Like the dude fucking massive feet. But he could play basketball with those fucking massive, or be a clown, I guess. But I think basketball players have big feet, right? Isn't that a stereotype? I don't know. But either way, friends, the thing to note is that we went outside to look for that shoe for like a couple hours. It was getting dark. He couldn't find it. So then my dad pretty much sent all of us as like a fucking rescue team out and about in the snow to find this man's shoe. And we couldn't find it at all. Like he showed us the area where he thought he lost it. We dug around. We couldn't find it at all. It wasn't even like he lost it like really early into the journey. He lost it like on like he said he lost it on the block of the house, so it couldn't have been that far at all. But you couldn't find it. You just couldn't find it. And you know, we said, all right, we'll pack it up. We'll try again tomorrow. We tried again tomorrow, and we couldn't find it. And we tried for a good while, couldn't find it. And we just figured, all right, it'll fucking turn up, I guess. And you know, every now and again, you know, throughout the coming like, I'm not even kidding, couple of months, you know, we'd have like a little rescue team go out there and try to find these damn shoes. But eventually we gave up. You know, he just started wearing the older shoes that barely fit him. I think we probably even got new shoes at that point. But yeah, we literally couldn't find his shoe, so he lost his shoe in the snow. The snow fucking ate his shoe. But there is a happy ending here, ladies and gentlemen at home. Because around springtime, my dad was taking my younger brother off the bus. And what does he find on the corner of the sidewalk but his shoe? Literally, and keep in mind, it's still like some snow out and like most of it's ice. It was in a fucking block of ice. Not like a perfectly carved block of ice, but that shoe was literally completely coated in ice. Like you could not, like, I don't know what the hell happened. I don't know if his shoe gained sentience and started sweating out of fear that he'd never be found, and then it froze over him. But we had to dig that thing out like a caveman. Eventually, we just had it sit there and let it melt out in our kitchen. Because we were just like, well, what do we do here? We just gotta let it thaw. But when we found that thing, it was the fucking greatest thing in the world. It's like we lost our it's like I amount it to the feeling that you would have if you lost your child. And you know they've been missing for a couple months, and then they finally show up again. The relief, the rush, the joy, the hilarity of the situation. Because the child's not young, you know. It's like, or maybe I don't know. But either way, there's a lot of hilarity to the situation. But I guess you wouldn't have hilarity if your child was stolen. But either way, I mean, unless it was a silly way of going out, you know, like, you know, this guy said there was candy in his van, so you know I went in there. Okay, this isn't. I don't know. But either way, it was just fucking hilarious, and we still joke about that a lot. It's still one of the funniest things to come out of our snowy times. And that about wraps it up for the older brother segment. He had some funny snow times, but so did I, and so did my rest of my family. And for starters, I'm gonna say this: I'm a baby. Well, I say was. I guess everyone was, but I feel like I was a bit more of a baby longer than other people. Oh god, I'm gonna die. But yeah, I was a bit of a baby bitch man as a kid. Arguably, still kinda am, but definitely not as much, because back as a kid, kind of unrelated story, when my brothers would my brother, my sisters and I would do like little like pillow fights, or just like play fighting, whatever, I would get hurt the easiest and the most. Like I would get like nosebleeds from nothing. Any light tap to my face, nosebleed. Anything crazy. However, there was one time where I had a box on my head, and he slapped me super hard across the face with a freaking Joe Boxer pillow, and my nose was bleeding. And they refused for eons to believe me that there was a box on my head. They completely fucking forgot that detail. I didn't. I was pretending to be a robot, and they fucking bopped me in the face, and my nose started bleeding. I was really sad. I remember. Pepperidge Farm probably remembers too. But yeah, just the absolute fucking rudeness of that situation. But I mean, yeah, it's just a strange happening, you know. My nose was like out to get me. It did not want me to be alive. And it's still, I argue that's the same situation today, because my nose clogs so much when nothing, like my nose is like almost permanently clogged. And it didn't used to be like that. It just happened at some point years ago, and it's not gone away since. But regardless, there was one time where we were having a little snowball fight. I had like my little face mask on because I didn't want to get cold or something, or I just wanted to look cool because it was like a fucking face mask. I don't know. It was like a knitted like face covering thing, which I don't know why we had as kids, but all of us had one as kids. I guess it's not like vital snow going equipment, but we had it because we're fucking cool, I guess. I don't know, but so my siblings, I think it was my older brother. It was either my older brother or my twin sister. They threw a snowball at me, hit me right in the face, and I felt a lot more wet than I did, like my face. I mean, than when I felt from any other snowball that had hit me in the face, or just in the body in general. So I take off the fucking face mask thing, the knitted, super soft, nice, warm face mask, and I was fucking bleeding out my ass. Not my ass, my nose. I was bleeding out my nose. That thing was soaked, drenched, absolutely coated in blood. I don't know how the fuck that happened. It wasn't even like hard ice snowballs. It was like fresh powder snow. I'm gonna pack it up a little bit just to make it stay solid in shape, but then when it hits, it's gonna explode and be hilarious. It knocked me a good one, because that thing, I was just bleeding for so long after that. It's insane. It's absolutely crazy. Like, my body is so sensitive at the dumbest of things. Like, I can like fall on my ass, do anything to myself nowadays, and I can walk it off. Unless it's like a very minor thing, at which point my entire body just shuts down. I don't understand. It doesn't make sense. But either way, I have a surprisingly long list this time around, but I mean they're all fairly shorter stories. So, but yeah, I have a lot of snow stories. All right, we did a lot of snowing as kids. There was so similarly in the vein of my brother getting bagels, I would also be sometimes sent to get things as a kid during the snow, and one of those things was a pizza. Right, because New York, we got bagels and we got pizza. Right, that's the stereotype doesn't get more obvious and blatant than that. But it's true. We got the goods. They got the goods back there. And we went to one of our favorite pizza places at the time, which I don't remember the name of. I'm sorry. I'm letting you down, everyone who I've gotten pizza at before. With? I don't know. But, and it was me and my twin sister, and we were walking. She had, like, the garlic knots, because it came with, like, a free set of garlic knots if you got a pie of pizza. And it might have been two. I don't remember exactly, but all I remember is me, like, it was like, and it wasn't like too big of snow. It wasn't like fucking wading through like a pool of snow. It was just like the ice that was left, and it was like a bunch of patches and stuff. So it was like you didn't really see it, and it was kind of awkward when you hit it. But yeah, that's what we waded through, and I mean it wasn't bad, but like somewhere in the beginning of the walk, I slipped, and I was the one holding the pie or two of pizza. I think it was just one, but it might have been two. I don't remember. That's not really that important. But the way I fell, I slipped so perfectly like that. Like my body, I like at the end of the fall, I was completely flat on my back. And I was holding the pizzas up in the air like I just freaking caught someone's cat falling out of a tree. Like I saved the pizza. I didn't drop it at all. It wasn't sloochy. The cheese didn't pour to one side. That thing stayed straight. That thing, if you put a level on that pizza box, the entire fall, it would not. The bubble would stay in the middle. That's how. It was fucking phenomenal. It was an incredible fall, an incredible dive. I was just trying to impress the people walking by, as I slipped and fucking like just held it up in the air. Like I slipped like back first, so I just held the box perfectly up because I knew very well that my health was not as important as getting that pizza. People were hungry at home. I mean, they needed that food. They didn't need me without a concussion, which I didn't get, by the way. It didn't hurt that bad. But yeah, so, you know, kind of a gamer. If anyone needs me to hold some food for you, I got the job. I could be a delivery boy, except I don't drive or bike, so I could walk it pretty good. It would take a while, might get cold, but I can walk. I can walk your food wherever you want it to be. Uh, okay, let's get a big story out of the way. 'Cause this is maybe not a big story, but it's a big thing. It's a big part of my head space when I think of snow fun times, and that's the snow car. I think I might have mentioned the snow car somewhere, at one point or another. But the snow car was a thing that me and my older sister did. We had walked to the left of where we were living, walked down like a block, and then we turned left again and walked all the way down. Because we were just walking around, we were talking, and eventually we stumbled upon a fucking huge mound of snow on the side of the road. It was massive, like actually fucking huge. And we were like, "Whoa, look at that! It's so big, and then the road and stuff. It could be like a car." And so we did. We did what we thought it was. We did a car. We didn't do a car. We made it into a car. I don't know how to really word that correctly. But we fucking contorted that massive mound into a car. With like a front to it. It had like the windows and stuff. We didn't make it so we could like sit in the front seat. There was no front seat. I think there might have been like a thing on top where we just put like a fake like a snow wheel thing, but the main part of it that I remember anyway was the fact that we like made the body of a car. We like drew some tires on the sides, and we made like a nice packed down trunk area. Like it was like an open trunk like RV thing that we could sit in. Because we packed it down nice enough, and it was still tall enough that we can just like climb in there and sit in it and pretend we were just chilling in the back of someone's freaking RV. And it was awesome. And we worked on that thing for hours. It wasn't like a 10-minute project. We spent like it was like getting dark when we were done with that thing. And come the coming days, we would go over there. We'd like work on it, or we'd just like sit in it and talk and just enjoy the snow car. The snow car was something. It was like a secret. It's like when you have like a secret place. It's like when you have a secret place in like your. It's like a secret hideout. It's just something that you and some other people share and are like, hey, this is radical. And yeah, so I mean, we had that for a while, like a good few weeks, maybe even a month. I don't know, because the snow can last. All right, the snow can last with Brooklyn, but the thing is, it probably wasn't a month. It was probably a couple of weeks, but still. Eventually, my twin sister caught wind of it, and she was like, well, caught wind of us just like going out to the snow car so many times. She didn't know what the snow car was, but we'd say we're going to the snow car, and then at one point that clicked with my sister, like, I want to go to the snow car. And she was like, what the hell is a snow car? And we told them, well, yeah, we found this big mound of snow, and we contorted it into a car, and we've just been chilling in it. And so we were gonna go show her the snow car. Now it's like we pretty much just finished our baby, our pride and joy, and we were gonna go cut the opening ribbon ceremony thing, and allow another person into our snow car like just fun times. And on the walk there, we like explained the whole thing. We were like talked about all the cool things we made on it that I don't remember at all, except just the back of the trunk and the cool tires. We spent a long time trying to make the tires look cool. And sometimes we'd like try to dig out a spot, but then we'd dig out too much, and you had to start over on his part. But it was just it's building something in snow. And eventually we get over there, and we're like, well, we start walking for like about the same amount of time, and we don't see the snow car. We're like, where the hell's the snow car go? Because we didn't really, at least I didn't have a good sense of direction. So I knew where we were going in relation to the snow car, but the moment I didn't see it when I thought it was supposed to be, I had no idea. I had absolutely no idea where I was, or where it was, or if I went the wrong way, or what. Apparently, it was just gone. It was just someone just got rid of our snow car, and we were so unbelievably hurt at that. Like, dude, why? How? What happened? Like, this is impossible, right? Like, how did someone just steal our snow car? What I think happened was we actually built it on a car. Like, we built it on an actual car, and someone was eventually, I gotta get my fucking car out of there. And they eventually dug it out and, like, fucking fixed it and, like, drove it away. Because I don't know how it stayed so compact during that entire time we would freaking go out there doing snow stuff. I have no idea. I have genuinely no idea. But it did. And, it was cool. And that guy with his stupid driver's license took it away from me. So maybe that's why I have a deep-seated resentment towards getting my driver's license. I don't, but imagine I did for the sake of talking today. But regardless, all right. The only thing is that my sister, my twin sister, still doesn't believe us about the snow car to this day. We've talked about it numerous times before, like after that. Like, I remember the snow car. Like me and my older sister were talking, and she'd be, in the conversation, listening and, talking, and she'd just be like, yeah, that thing doesn't exist, yeah, because she didn't get to see it. She never got to see the snow car, and that pains me. And none of us had a phone or a camera or anything to take pictures of it. We just had it. It was our thing, and we grew to love that damn snow car, and someone stole it from us right when we were gonna go show somebody. It's like with Phineas and Ferb, where Candace goes to show the mom like the crazy contraption that their brothers built, and then just it's gone. Like the moment she gets there, like the second she gets close, it just disappears. That's pretty much what happened to the snow car. But then we didn't find it afterwards, so it was actually just gone. It was one of those episodes where it actually just disappeared. It just come back right as she left. But yeah, the snow car, absolutely phenomenal. It took like weeks of our time. It took a lot of effort, and it was a lot of fun. And I don't remember what the hell happened to it, and I'll never know. But yeah, it's just crazy. Other things that we've made out of snow. I've made a hobbit hole out of snow at one point. Like, I was pretty small as a kid. So, I grew out of nowhere. Because I genuinely thought that I was never going to, like, actually get tall. I think in, like, 6th or 7th grade, maybe even 8th grade, I was, like, still too short to, like, properly reach the fucking, like, the clicky thing on the ceiling light. Like the weird beaded, like, rope thing that you pull and it turns the light on or the lamp on or the fan on or whatever. I couldn't click that. I was too short for a long time. So I could fit into a lot of holes, and one of the holes was a hobbit hole I made, hobbit hut thing, and it was like on the walk to the store, because we had a store like right across the street from our house, so we'd we'd walk that block and then we'd be at a store, and like in the middle of that there's a huge mound of snow. I want to make like a little home out of this, so I effectively made like an igloo minus the door and like the ice, the blocks. It was more just like a carved out snow house. I didn't make like furniture or anything, which I probably definitely wanted to do at the time, because I loved making funky ass shit out of snow. But all I remember was I did that. I made the little hole, and I showed my sister, and she's like, "Whoa!" And then it was either a few hours later or the next day. I go to do it, to go back into the hole, because it was like pretty close to where we lived, so it was pretty much just hangout number one for me. And I go to freaking go into it, and it's gone. It's just completely destroyed. The snow is still there, but the mound just collapsed on itself. Or the neighbor must have seen it and was like, "Oh hell no, we're not putting up with this," and broke it intentionally. And I don't know which one's sadder to believe, but I mean either way, I was not happy. And then I tried building it again, but without those height requirements that it met before, it just completely collapsed on itself every time I tried to make it. It didn't have the structure or the support that it needed in order to actually thrive as a proper little house. And it sucked. So it was gone. It ended. And ever since then, I could never make like a good one ever again. Like that was the perfect conditions were met and made. That one time I made one, and I've never been able to duplicate it ever. It's genuinely one of the saddest things to come out of my childhood. Genuinely. But yeah, other than that, still some cool stuff. And this one actually wasn't me. It's another topic about somebody else. This thing, listen, alright, everyone's made a snowman before. No matter how big or small or whatever, they've made a snowman before. Like, I've made my fair share of really tiny snowmen. I've never been able to make anything with, like, decent size. I made a snow penis at one point. Or no, maybe, I don't know if I made the snow... Oh, no, that wasn't me. That was my friend. My friend made the snow penis. We were trying to make a snowman, and we had the two balls, but we couldn't lift it on top of the other one because it was too light. We didn't pack it tight enough, I guess. I don't really know because I've never really made a big snowman before. So we just put them next to each other, and then my friend gathered a bunch of snow to make a shaft and just made a snow penis out of it. It was really funny. And we took pictures of it, but I don't know if I still have them. I'm not gonna find them either. Maybe some point I'll find them. Maybe like next week I'll have them ready for you. But either way, I'm just lazy, so sorry. But regardless, I've made, other than that, some snowmen. They were pretty small, fairly small snowmen, like tiny ones. Like you could like put it on a desk. It was so small. But nothing ever could have prepared me for one day when I woke up. My sisters were outside. They were already outside. I wake up. I ask my dad where they are. They said they're outside playing in the snow. I was like, "Oh, dude, snow, yeah." So I got all my stuff on. Took me like 10 million years to get ready. More like maybe 5 minutes, but still, it felt like eons. And I go downstairs, and I open the door, and I go outside, and I turn to my left to see my direct neighbor's, little pavement area next to it. Holy shit. The tallest snowman I have ever seen was standing next to me. And it was the neighbor, like an older neighbor, and my two sisters. That were just, not like an older neighbor, I think maybe they're 20s or something. 20s, 30s, tops. And my two sisters. And they had apparently, I don't remember when I woke up, but it must have been fucking days later. Days later when they started the project. Because they erected that thing in a night, in like a day. In like a morning. And I know I was a kid. So obviously everything seems pretty tall for a kid. But as long as my memory is not failing me, which it very well may, it like almost towered the freaking apartment building. It was like 3 or 4 times my height. Like it was like a fucking 10-15 foot tall snowman. Like it went like beyond me. I was at I'm like 6, like 5'9", 5'10" now. It's like 2 or 3 of me. It was huge. It was massive. It was at least a story tall of a snowman, and it was thick. It was big. He had some stuff on him. He was massive. And I don't know how the hell I did it. I didn't get to see any of the process. I didn't get to see any of the craziness that came with it, but they made it, and it was amazing. and that thing stayed up for a little bit because it melted off. And I think eventually we actually fucking toppled it over. I don't remember what happened to it. We might have collapsed it. It may have just melted over time. I think it melted over time, but I don't remember. Because the only thing I honestly remember is going outside and just seeing the tallest snowman I think on record. What is the tallest snowman? Okay, sorry to pause. No, I don't have to pause again. I can just alt tab over here. What is the tallest snowman? Because it was built in Bethel, Maine in 2008. 122 feet. Okay, so maybe it's not. Maybe it wasn't that tall, but it got close, I would say. I would say it got pretty close. Which is just nuts. It's absolutely nuts to even consider. Right? Because it's just... Huh? How? How did people get... Oh, close. Yeah, and it was maybe like a 15th of that at most. But like, still, it was so huge. Like, it was absolutely massive. It was at least like 10 feet tall. I can only assume. I don't know how they did it. And it was so cool. And just, it was massive. Like, it was wide. It was a wide fucking snowman. It was a big, they had some big balls. I don't know how they found all that snow. I don't know how they rolled it all into balls. I never understood the idea of rolling one ball in a ball of snow and then it got bigger and 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 bigger. Like, there's not that much snow in the world. There's not that much snow on a Brooklyn freaking sidewalk. How'd they find that? How'd they build that? I have no idea. It's insane. The only other thing I maybe built in the snow, which isn't true at all, was I had a barrel of monkeys. All right, and it wasn't my barrel of monkeys, my younger brother's. But we also had a porch, and oh my god, I fucking forgot. My sister used to like eat snow. Which just made me feel gross. It just seems awful. That does not sound fun at all. It just sounds gross. Sounds yucky. Sounds nasty. Sounds like a horrible time. But regardless, in that porch, there was a lot of snow that built up, and I opened the porch door a little bit, like a sliding glass window door thing. I would open it a crack. It wasn't that fancy, by the way. Don't go thinking we spent millions on this apartment. But we opened a crack, and then we saw. Well, we didn't see snow. I scooped in some snow in that barrel of monkeys, and then I figured, what if I just like compact the other side of the barrel of monkeys, and then make one big barrel of monkeys. And so I did that. I put all the snow in a barrel of monkeys, and I kept it in that snow barrel. And I was like, yeah, I did it. I took some pictures. I might still have them. I don't know. But all I remember is leaving it there in their room for a while. And like maybe a month goes by, and I checked that snow thing. It still had a good amount of the snow in it. Like, that thing lasted. Like, I think the barrel of monkeys is like an unseen like master of like keeping heat out and cold in. Because that thing should not have still had snow in it. It was like inside, and when we had the heat on sometimes, by heat I mean radiators that we had to buy separately because our friggin' apartment didn't have heat. Like, it's a heating system in it. But it was insane. It was just so... I don't know how it lasted that long. I really don't. It was cool. I'd seen that it was still there. And then I started, like, throwing... I just threw it at something, I think. I either, like, chipped it away, like, melted it, or I threw it at something. Again, memory's a little hazy at that certain topic. But yeah. So, those are all, like, the snow things I've built or made, technically. As far as I can remember, anyway. I only have a few more stories, and they're all kind of just quick little anecdotes about some stuff. But they're still good stories, I think. So, one time, me and my siblings and my relatives and stuff would go out in the snow, play a lot. Then, like, 8th grade, there was a lot of snow. And me and my friends and my twin sister There's 6 of us, and maybe like one of my friends' younger sister was there too. I don't remember exactly, but it was at least 6 of us. We had the biggest fucking snowball fight known to man. It was massive. It was huge. We didn't really make snowballs. We just kind of threw snow. We just clumped snow up in our hand and throw it, which I guess didn't exactly look like a ball, but it was close enough to a ball. I don't imagine in the snowball fights everyone's neatly packing each individual snowball. Like no, everyone's getting excited. They're just fucking flinging snow like a monkey flinging shit at something. It's all. Come on, that's what you do. And it got to a point where me and my twin sister were standing on the stairs and just getting fucking berated. Like the stairs of like the front of our like apartment. This is like a few steps, and we were just getting fucking berated by my friends. And eventually, my mom comes down, super angry, because apparently the landlord goes to her and says they can't be doing that. Get them to stop. Which I guess it makes some sense, you know, getting a bunch of snow on the stairs, people could slip. Which I'll get to that in a second. I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, he just said they said we had to stop, and then we had to clean it up. So we had to get like a broom from upstairs and just shovel off all the snow. And we weren't very happy about it, but my friends helped. They helped clean it up. You know, they kept the spirits bright. You know, it's not like we were mad at them for getting all the snow there. I mean, we were a little bit, but then they started helping. So we were like, oh, okay, this is nice. It's not like we told them not to. We might have actually, but I don't remember that. But I just remember them helping. And it was nice. And you know, we got all this most of the snow off. There's a lot of just kind of slushy water. So I mean, a broom wasn't really gonna do much, but that's all we really had. And also our hands, I guess. But we're not fucking Neanderthals, all right? We use tools. But I will get into this story now, because ice on the stairs for like our main staircase getting into the apartment. He didn't want the snow on the stairs, but ice. It's almost like he prefers that ice is on the stairs. He never cleaned the stairs on that apartment. On those main stairs, he never cleaned them once. Never. There'd be like a pretty decent layer of ice on those stairs, to the point where like every day when I'd come home from school, and like I'd like saying bye to my friend who lived across the street, and he I would like go up the stairs, I'd slip, and I'd like slip on the stairs, sometimes on purpose, but 99% of the time it was just me trying to walk up the stairs, and I'd fucking fall over. Not like super bad, but I'd like trip upwards, and I'd have to catch myself on the next stair, which was then cold because of the ice. But it was just crazy. It was stupid, and we told him about it. He didn't fucking care at all. And it got to the point where my aunt, whenever she'd come in during the wintertime, it'd be fucking crazy, because she'd always slip on the ice, and she'd almost fucking bust her ass and her back and shit, just fucking almost falling down the entire flight of fucking steps, because the dude doesn't fucking de-ice the stairs. A common just necessity that needed to be done, he refused to do. He's an awful landlord. An absolutely awful landlord. Jeez Louise, man. He was just terrible. He's actually terrible. Yeah, the amount of times we've slid, broke our ass, and then he just stole our bench. I'm never gonna get over that. I want that bench back, but I can't just go and steal it back. I mean, hell, I can go back over there now. He probably won't even remember who I am. So, either way, 2 more stories, and they're not that much of stories. I guess one's a story. Well, we'll save that for last. I used to sweat in the snow, and I still do sometimes. Like when it's cold out, I still sweat. Like whenever I'm like walking to work, and like I have like my backpack and like my sweater on, like I'm sweating in that sweater. Like it's fairly cold out. It doesn't matter. I'm sweating in that sweater. Especially in the back where like the backpack is too. That's just adding more warmth. If there is any layer on my body that's like not just like a basic shirt and pants, I'm going to sweat. It does not matter the temperature at all. I'm going to sweat. Maybe not. The degree of sweat varies depending on how cold it is outside or how warm it is outside. But still, there is a necessity. It is like a constant in life that I will sweat if I'm wearing anything but just a basic shirt and pants. Like any sort of sweater. I'm going to sweat under that layer, no matter what. Literally, no matter what. It could be any time of day. It could be any temperature. It could be anything. I will sweat. and I did that. And sometimes like it would get so bad, or like I'd have a hat on and I'd be sweating under the hat, and then like I'd take it off, and my sisters would like see that I am like fucking drenched in sweat and not in snow. It's not like I'm mistaking it for snow. No, for the snow for sweat. No, it was actual sweat. Like the top of my head was red and just drenching my face with sweat. Like, and we were playing in the snow. I don't know how that's possible. I genuinely don't understand how that is possible. Like my body is like 90% blubber. It has to be, because how else am I do? How do I get so? My body just gets so hot in the snow. It gets hot. Gets warm any time of the year, and I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it at all, quite frankly. The last thing I have for you guys today is a quick old story. It's a very quick story. It's actually probably I probably should have saved something better for the ending, unless I have something else in here. It's a long list. I might have missed something. No, I only have one more story. And so, in relation to the ice that would constantly be in front of our house, and on our stairs, my siblings, well, my sister, my twin sister, and I had scooters as kids. Like not like electric scooters, but scooters. They were cool, and we loved them. We still love scooters now. We don't have them because they're mostly made for children. You can't really find a adult scooter that it's just, and you can, but it's kind of hard to come by, and they can be very expensive. So we just said no. We'll just walk. But either way, we had scooters, and we were like, you know what? Let's just wham the ice down with the scooters. So we like use our scooters as like pickaxes to chip away at the freaking ice blocks that are on like around our house. Because he did not care for it at all. He just let it sit there. He just figured, it'll melt eventually. I don't have to worry about that. I have better things to do with my day. And he just leave it there. So we were like, all right, we'll just start smacking at it. And we'd sing like tunes from like SpongeBob, or just anything really that we thought of while we were doing it. We just put our backs into it. Sometimes the scooter, because it's not like it's like stable. Sometimes it would like bounce to the left or right, and we'd almost hit each other with it. It was fucking awful, but it was fun. I will say it was very fun, and I'm sure there was a lot more fun to be had in the snow, because there's a lot of stories I could easily, like if I sat here for more than like 10-15 minutes to think of stories, I would have an absolute fucking arsenal of things to tell you guys. Because there's just that many things about snow and the times in the snow that we had. But for now, my mind is drawing blanks, and I think it's about time we end it off. So with that, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in to this episode of Stranded Deep in Conversation. If you have any fun snow stories, I'd be more than happy to listen, because that's just the fun. That's fun, man. I enjoy listening to things. Like, I hope you guys enjoy listening to me. So, with that, thank you, and I hope, for your sake, it doesn't snow too much this winter, because as much as it's fun to play in, it's not fun to travel in, so everyone stay safe out there this winter. Have a great rest of your day and all. Bye-bye now.